Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, man?
Not
I'm
much.
chilling today. How how are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Nice. All right. So, what are we going over today? What's the plan?
Wanted to just focus on Fox. Been really struggling with him lately, and
Mhm.
yeah, really need to work on that matchup, I think.
Mhm. Okay. And like, what's going on?
Um, well, things were going good for the like because we haven't had a lesson in a few months, and
Yeah.
like the first month or so, it was things were going well. Then I had like a string of like a whole week or two where I just lost to like every good mid-level Fox and beyond in a
Mhm.
row.
Mhm.
And it was like devastating for my elo and my mental. And yeah, I just like realized I really need to brush up. I think on that matchup because I feel like I'm really behind uh, compared to where the Foxes are at for the most part.
Interesting. Okay. Is the screen share working?
Uh,
Should be on.
yes, yeah, I can
Okay.
see it.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So this first VOD you sent me is against Lucky. Uh,
Yeah,
Not exactly a mid-level fox, but I do understand where you're
the,
coming
the,
from.
he was one of the Foxes, but I said like mid level and beyond. So like there
I
was some
see.
Foxes that were like Stone, from who's like a good Fox from Texas, and Justice, who
Mm-hmm.
I've never lost to him before, but he was always pretty close to beating me, and then he did it. And then I think I want to say there was someone else too. There was another fox whose tag is Abomination. I don't know if that's like his, if it's a Smurf or it's his real name or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there was like quite a few foxes that I just lost to like back to back to back. So and Lucky was just another one of them.
Okay. Um, all right, I'm gonna take a guess, which has nothing to do with like you or anything. It's just that whenever I seem to go through an era of struggling with Fox, it usually means I'm trying to go too fast. I'm trying to like get the gameplay like super speed and like super speedy and like kind of like interactions happening really quickly. And I think that normally what it is for me. So I'm curious what it is for you this time.
Yeah, maybe I'm not sure. It feels like I'm too slow to be honest, but maybe I'm trying to be too fast.
Yeah, because there's not really. I mean, I guess there is such a thing as too slow, but like you don't need to be very fast to do this matchup well. Okay, let's see. So, all right, I'll ignore that kind of weird opening. Okay, you've just been stuck in this combo off your like accidental mistake on your opener. All right, your whole first stock is basically just gone because you made a like a weird like an error on this laser, and then yeah, you just get caught in like a weird way. So honestly, just like a misinput at the beginning. Just double checked, so I'm gonna ignore that. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I see. So if they do this one right next to the edge, you can up air and it'll push them off into the up air.
Yeah,
And if they, hmm?
sorry, I was just gonna say in concept I always know that, but then I never actually do it in matches. I got to make a note to like really try to go for that.
Mm-hmm. It's only when they do this at the edge, and I feel like most of the time people won't actually do this. Like most of the time they do the right one, which is like in the middle. Uh,
Right, that's true too. Yeah.
the best answer you can do to the one in the middle is get a laser, like land with a laser on the shield, because
Oh,
it like you're invincible while you're jumping up to set up your laser. So like it's like a fine, it's totally fine to set it up. You're not in any danger. And once you get the laser, you either get the guaranteed shield pressure or you get like a shine grab or a grab after the laser. It's a really really good setup. I stole it from Magi, but
yeah, yeah. That sounds really good.
but that's kind of the solution to that sort of position, at least this currently. Um, boom, boom, boom. Was this on purpose? The high one?
Um, I can't remember. I know I do sometimes shoot high lasers versus Fox to try and like
Yeah.
mitigate his ability to full jump, but
All right.
I'm
My
not
guess is
sure.
this doesn't look like it's on purpose. That's my
Yeah, this
perception of
it
it.
might have just been a mistake. Yeah, I think I might have like panicked because I saw him maybe starting to run towards me, and so I messed up my laser input,
I
like
see.
my fastball.
Definitely shouldn't be panicking here. One of the things I've been thinking a lot about lately in this matchup is just how comfortable Falco actually can get. Like, you shouldn't really feel like you're in any danger. And I know that sounds crazy because it's Fox, um, but as long as you space your lasers correctly and you are comfortable in your defense, Fox does not have good ways to sort of like crush you. Um, I think that what's the best way to describe it? Okay, I think the easiest way to describe it is just like, the double laser in place range from the video. It's like Fox is further than that range, therefore, if you're shooting lasers, he can't hit you.
Right.
So you don't need to feel anything like negative in positions like this at all. You should be able to really comfortably shoot your laser and then just react to it hitting him. Because this is like position losing basically if you expect this to be a laser that hits Fox and it goes over his head and you're not ready for that. Like you already lost this position basically.
Yeah, I think. Oh, I was also worried about him doing power shield, like take laser dash forward, running power shield on the second laser I did.
Right, but that doesn't work on the double laser. Remember from the video? You might need to
Um,
rewatch the double laser in place video. But a big part of the video was that if you shoot the two lasers in place, they can't do take laser running power shield.
oh, do they not have enough? I guess maybe it depends on the spacing. If he's
No, it's
too.
not dependent on the spacing. If you do two lasers in place in a row, Fox cannot take one and running power shield the next one. Literally impossible. I went over the frames in the video.
Oh, but is it running power shield or dash power shield that he can't do? It's running power shield.
Well, of course he can dash power shield. Like you can dash power shield at any range, but he's not going to get the slide forward out of it.
I see, and then without that forward momentum, it's like he can't really hit you immediately, so it's not that
Yeah,
scary. Is what
well
you're
he's
saying?
put
Yeah,
he's put in a situation. I go over it in depth in the video, but basically he's in a situation where unless he does the most tasks, like he has to like hard read that his power shield will be successful and do like a one frame power shield into a wave dash, and in that case he can shine you. But if he does the correct power shield option, which is like I think you hold it for like 5 frames or something, which is basically like if you wave dash out of that, it's okay if you didn't get the power shield because there's like still the shield stun from the laser. And
right.
if he does that, which is like what most people aren't doing 1 frame power shield wave dashes, uh, especially not in that position. And so if he waits the appropriate amount of time to kind of cover both options, he can't get in. If he does power shield, or if you do the double laser and then he does uh, like take laser dash in power shield wave dash in, you can actually take the laser and then shine him before his wave dash is over. It's all in that video.
Yeah,
Just rewatch that video. That was why I made it because it like basically removes the fear against Fox because it shows you that like if you're at this certain range or greater, he literally can't get in if you do double laser in place. Like it's physically impossible for him to approach before the second laser.
yeah, yeah.
So okay, so this up tilt shine was crazy. That was a good idea right there. Okay. You don't really want to do like if you end up in a position like where is it? This you got to make sure this is not a position where you do an in-place aerial. And I think we've talked about this before, where you have to dash dance into the aerial so that your aerial momentum follows them if they DI away. Because otherwise, if you do this up air and let's say both hits hit, then he's always just going to be able to get away. And if you were trying to do this sort of like a single hit up air up tilt thing, it's just like inconsistent, especially at that height. it's just not something I really want to be going for there. I would much prefer you just like dash dance nared there and then chased him into the corner with like a tech chase. That's my opinion. I think that like it's just something to keep in mind. I kind of see what you were going for here with this. It's not like the worst decision, but I feel like it's kind of like I don't know, the single hit up air into up tilt. Like, what if he SDI to this side, you know, or what if he
Yeah.
or what if he just like SDIs down and then out of the up air and he gets like his shield out from an empty land before the up tilt. It's a fine option, but it's one that I don't think the single hit up air into up tilt or shine is very or sorry or yeah single hit up air into shine is like very consistent. I kind of like avoid it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm. Okay, this is a weird game so far.
Yeah.
So there's definitely like a lack of confidence though in like your buttons this set so far, or this match so far.
Yeah, that's how I feel like almost every fox I fight. It just feels like they're like so confident, and I'm just not in my execution.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically, you're doing the thing where kind of like where I was saying, like kind of trying to make things happen too fast. Is like you're kind of trying to like I don't know you. It's like you want to be the fox, like the way that you're moving, where it's like aerial dash back. Okay, so you do these lasers, and then you just like dash back, dash in, approaching laser, and then you go for the up tilt, and then you're approaching, and then the tomahawk, and then now we're here and we attack and we like laser, and then we go in with the down air and we up tilt, spot dodge, laser, down air, back air, and it's like whoa, this is like a lot of like chaos kind of. That's not really like what our character is supposed to be doing. Falco is supposed to feel very like systematic. You really don't want to like if you're caught in these situations where you feel like you're kind of hitting and like fighting like I don't know like in the equivalent of like boxing or something would be like the exchange where you're both just kind of punching each other and it's like you don't want
Yeah.
that. Like Fox wins the exchange. Like if you both just sit there and you spam moves on each other, you will not win that. Like ever. Like maybe like
Mm.
20% of the time. You don't want to be like thrown out of. It's kind of like if Fox takes it with like sorry if Marth takes it with Fox and Marth is just running around down tilt, short hop, fair, forward tilt, like grab, jab, down tilt. Like that's he's just gonna lose because Fox is just gonna like move around it and hit him. And it's a really similar concept with Falco where like you can't just be throwing out moves. You need to get like a setup in neutral with the lasers. Once you get your setup, you get an advantage state, and then you do a mix up off of the advantage state to threaten them. Not necessarily even go in, just to threaten. So I feel like I think before when I would watch your Falco, you would have sort of like a mentality that for anything they do, there's like a right answer. And I think that you've lost a little bit of that. It looks like when you see the position, you feel like there's maybe a right answer, but you have to pick right now, so you better just like pick something and go because that's better than nothing. And it creates kind of like hectic playstyle where you're kind of just like reaching for stuff. That's kind of what
Yeah.
it looks like so far. It's like just remember how so this is something that's been helping me recently and it's not necessarily something that would be exactly true for everyone, but I just remember like how well I was doing before I had tech skill. Like when my Falco was pretty new and all I knew how to do was like zone with lasers and like dash dance down air and stuff and I could barely combo, I was still doing really well. And so a lot of times I have to just remind myself that like you don't really like you don't need the speed. Like it seems threatening that Fox is there, but that doesn't mean you have to do something. It basically means that if you keep throwing things out and you keep doing things when Fox wants you to, like you feel like him moving makes you do things, you're just falling for every bait.
Yeah.
how have you been? I mean, you don't have to answer this too much in detail, but how have you been like in life lately? Like, how has your mental
Oh,
been? Like in your day to day life? Like, you can just say like, is it kind of like a rough time? Because like, it's just as like the way you're playing is kind of like,
maybe like very not like explicitly, but
yeah, I
maybe
don't.
like unconsciously, like it does feel like maybe I'm a little bit on a like mental decline.
Yeah, like I'm just getting like this weird like mental slump vibe in your Falco, like in a way that's like it's kind of, and like I don't know, brains are always going through these different like cycles, so like this is just like this Falco is just not on the progression that we've been on. like
Yeah,
like every lesson there's been this kind of like climb of how your Falco is playing, and like your Falco right now is on like it's like, okay, it's not about you, but your Falco is kind of on like depression mode right now. Like it's
yeah,
it's like I can feel it in like it has this feeling of like, oh, it's just like a lot, and it's kind of like overwhelming, and like I don't know this spot. What am I supposed to do here? Like I down air and he just hits me, and it's kind of like that's not like the way that I'm used to seeing your Falco, which is a lot more like I do the system, and if the system works, that's good, and if the system doesn't work, the system gets better, and like very like
yeah,
looking at it like highly systematically. So I can definitely feel this kind of like defeatism in like the way you're moving, or like I don't know how to describe it, and I didn't want to like make it like too personal asking about that stuff. It's just like it just looks so different, and it definitely reminds me of like I don't know when I'm kind of going through like a hard time, like mentally, not necessarily because of life. It's like just like the cycle where I'm at sometimes is like
yeah.
it's just hard to like like I don't know, dude. Like okay, Cell from 2 months ago would have done this Nair in no universes out of 43 million possible universes.
Yeah,
Like I can't even like we could run the simulation 10,000 times. You would never ever ever do that Nair there ever. And so
yeah,
there's been this disconnect between like the plan and what you know is good and solid and like what you're actually doing. And it's hard for me to pinpoint exactly where that is, but like there's some sort of like slumping type of perpetuating of like doing bad thing going on here. It feels very mental and not about like your actual in-game skill as much from watching.
yeah. It's yeah.
So something that I don't know, I have like a bunch of little mental tricks that I use to try to get away from situations like that. And it's like they need to like take it from you. And especially with Falco cuz you have the lasers, it helps to kind of just start over and play fully systematic. Like I'm going to shoot these lasers. How did they hit me out of my lasers? How can I avoid getting hit by the lasers last time? Because basically, what it seems like is your brain is kind of like, you know, that old model? It's not working. And it's like, well, every time in the past, when you got to that point in the model where it wasn't working as well, you would just like slightly optimize the model. But for whatever reason, your brain is like, no, that model's not for me. And I've been there like a ton of times. And so you kind of just need to like reattach your brain to the model. And what helps me is starting at zero with like the lasers and like they got to take it from me. And just play
Yeah.
really slow and systematic. Because like look at this. Look at this down air you do. Where is it? It's in a second. Okay. Right? Yeah, like this. Like what? This is not like you. At least like right here. It's like, okay, look at this position. This position. Is it time to dash in down air? It's like, no, never. This would never be the spot to dash in down air. This is the spot to establish the laser control. And so this sort of down air is very much in the mindset of like, I don't know, maybe they'll be here, just down air. I don't know, maybe. What, you know, if I don't do the
Yeah.
down air, what if they just hit me? You know, they're gonna hit me before I can even do anything, and then I'm gonna mess up. It's gonna be over. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, I've been there, but like, you need to like situations like this. At least for me, I've started noticing these a lot more lately as like red flags. like in tournament especially, where I'll be playing, and then I'll be like, I'll drop a game to like curve or something, and I'll be like, wait a minute, dude, I'm totally like trying to hit him, like I'm just jumping in and down airing, and I'm just like guessing which, because that's the thing is, that's what Fox is doing. Fox is like, Falco's here, so there's a decent probability that if I full hop Nair on his head, it'll just hit. And it's like, that's the game that Fox is there to play. That is not the game that you're here to play. You're here to play the game that makes doing this never work. Where you're like, I'm going to shoot my laser, and then I'll check if he full hops. Did he? Then I get to up tilt him, or move back and laser again. So it's like, you got to like reconnect to these systems somehow. Yeah. And like, avoid this feeling that you like, you just see him dashing in, and you're like, I got to do something. I got to get him before he gets me. And that's just not like the mentality that's conducive for like good Falco play.
I see.
Like even setting up for like a position like this, the fact that there's no laser, like they're like down air. What? Like why are you down airing in place there? That's not like part of the plan. It's just out of the idea that like here he comes.
Yeah.
So let's see. I think what I was saying before, so this is like my current thought process on all this, is that I think slow it down as slow as you need to. Just make sure, like, in terms of like mental processes, I don't mean like shoot lasers slower. I just mean like, just chill out, shoot a bunch of lasers in a row. You'll kind of notice that when you shoot like 10 lasers in a row, that people can't really get to you, and they're kind of stuck in place, and they're kind of like, you know, they're in like the sludge of the lasers, they can't move, and then you'll realize how much control you actually have to like play the game, and like, you know, like the stuff that we've been kind of like working on for like a while now is like, you're like, I don't know, laser, retreating laser, laser in place, approaching laser, and now you got a bunch of damage, and Fox is here, and you do this little dash in, dash back, and it baits Fox's up tilt, and then you come in with the down air, and you're like, man, that was 4 lasers into a bait into a down air. And it's like, that is what we gotta focus on. Like, you need to stick to those same systems that we went over before. You have to have faith in the systems too. Kalindi actually talks about this a lot. Where like, with Falco, that like he feels like a lot of his problems with Falco are because he doesn't trust the character. That like, especially under pressure, he'll start like feeling like he has to like make something happen beyond like what Falco would normally do in the systems, because like, I don't know, of course, like, it's Fox. Like, are these systems really enough to, like, beat this character who's flying around throwing stuff out? And it's like, and I feel like he's still not quite at the point where he has full faith in it, and that's definitely, like, holding him back a little bit. But he knows that that's the issue. So it's like, you gotta, however you have to do it, whether you have to, like, you know, lie to yourself that, like, this matchup is totally easy or what. What I do is I just lie to myself that Fox can't get in. I'm just like, Fox cannot get in, ever. Like, even if I'm not even shooting a laser, Fox can't get in. And obviously that's not true. But I just, like, hold that in my head, and it makes it so that I don't, like, flinch and just start down airing out everywhere.
Right.
But you gotta find, like, your own, like, sort of, like, mental trick for this. The other thing, okay, so sort of to just dive into it from watching this a little bit more. There's this, like, effect when Fox is fighting Falco, where it feels like it's hard to, like, what's the word? I don't know, it's hard to, like, hit Falco in exactly the spot you think you're gonna hit him. So you end up in these spots where, like, what's the best way to describe it? Like, I don't know, like you try to cross up maybe, but then Falco is, like, a little further, like, you try to cross up Nair, but then Falco's, like, a little further back than you thought. So he CCs it, and you land right on him with the Nair, and he shines you. Or, like, you land your drill on Falco, but, like, he's a little bit off to the side, and then, like, you can't drill shine, and then, you know, you miss, like, this drill confirm that you had or whatever. Or, like, you go for, like a shine pressure or something, and Falco is a little bit off to the side, and then he just down airs you, or, like, something like that.
Sure, yeah.
There's just these feelings when you're fighting Falco that he's hard to hit. And the reason that he's hard to hit is just because you feel like he's just always slightly off, And then when he's off in the position, your combo doesn't work perfectly, and then he can get like these reversals and stuff like that from like SDIing out or CCing and all these types of things. And so it feels like you're kind of allowing that mindset to like creep into the Falco side, where you're like, when I hit him with my moves, like he's dash dancing, so when I hit him with the move, you know, who knows where he's gonna be. Sometimes he's a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right, and I'm like, I don't know. Just when I'm watching your Falco, I'm getting that same feeling that I get as Fox, where it's like kind of hard to hit the other person because they might be in a slightly off position and like reversal you type thing. I don't really know how to fully describe it.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I've especially at like 0% when Fox is at 0, I've made it like a note that I really want to start doing. Like if I go for raw aerial at him at any point when he's at 0, I just assume that he's going to get his shield up after and just go for shine grab automatically after.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of in that same vein of assuming that I don't know exactly what's going to happen when I hit him.
Yeah, well, first of all, you should never be aerialing Fox at 0, right? We've been over that, but
Yeah, but I feel like sometimes I don't know. I like have been doing lasers to get him up to 10%, and it's sometimes it's like it's good, but then like sometimes I feel like if they're like right on top of me, it's like really hard to get the space to just
yeah, if
like
they're
reset with lasers.
okay, yeah, if they're so basically your options at 0 are shine, grab, and laser. So
Yeah.
if they're trying to like get me, well, this is assuming they're on like the ground. If you're like on the plats and they jump up and they're at 0, just like, you know, back here really quick and get away or something. But I'm saying like, you don't. Let's see, where was I? I was talking about hitting Fox at 0.
Well, we were talking. You were saying that I'm doing the thing from Fox's side where you feel.
Yeah, no, I remember that part. I think I was just basically saying that like I still play the game at 0, but I only like I'm not gonna try to aerial Fox at 0 like ever, and that's just kind of like if he's on the ground, and that's or like near the ground even. And if you feel pressured while you're trying to get your lasers, that means that, you know, who doesn't like being chased in the spacey matchup? Like Fox likes when you chase him, Falco likes when Fox chases him. So if you're trying to get lasers and Fox is chasing you, you have a lot of opportunities to set up shines or grabs or more lasers.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And or yeah, well, answer first. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like. I've been thinking about like because I mean the main situations where Fox is at 0 are going to be like, but like where I won't be able to get a laser out are going to be like mainly just when he has respawn invincibility, and so it's kind of hard to like yeah, I basically am like when I'm hitting him with straight aerials. When he's at 0, it's like mainly just to get him off of me. I'm not trying to like intentionally hit him to start a combo or something. But like, I am like trying to reprogram how I think about getting the aerials, such that at that percent, I just assume that something could go wrong really easily. So I either just assume a shine grab is necessary right after, or I should just like take the aerial and then back off.
Which aerial?
Like a fadeaway back air or like a cross up nair or something. If I think, you know, they're gonna like run at me and I want to like cut them off.
Nah, sorry. Those are both really bad. Like you know they're bad. Like you can feel it because you're like a lot of things could go wrong here. That's not Falco. Falco's not the lot of things can go wrong here character. Like a lot of things can go wrong when you're okay. Maybe that's not the best way to say it. It's like that's not what you want to go for. It's like there's a lot of danger when you're doing the nair or the bear or whatever to like kind of get them off you, right? And it's like that's why you're doing it because you feel the danger. But there's not a big payoff. So it's like if you can get hit anyway when you're going for the back air and nair, like you can do the back air to keep them off you and they just grab it or up smash you or something. And it's like even if the back air hits, you're not going to get anything out of it. But if you get a shine at that percent, sure, you could still get hit out of trying to go for a shine. You're going to get hit sometime. But when the shine hits, you could zero death them. It just makes the risk reward really, really like different from like you just shouldn't be making any actions of like, well, this isn't very good, but I feel like I have to do it. that's something you gotta like try to find your way around as hard as possible. So it's like if you're in an inconvenient spot, you have to at least be going for the things that if they work, they kill the guy or they get a big combo out of it. So
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're
yeah,
saying. I
no
should just
aerials
like
at 0. I will die
like if
on
I
this
feel like
hill.
yeah, if I feel like they're on top of me, I should be trying to like either grab or shine them. That's pretty much it.
Grab, shine, or like get
If I
out of
don't
the
feel like,
way.
and then laser. Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
That makes
interesting.
sense.
I just haven't had like a problem with it in a long time because when they're at 0, and obviously after I get away from the invincibility, and I'm gonna start lasering them, I just feel really comfortable because like I'm guaranteed to be playing defense. Like I said, it's nice when the other person is chasing you. And so it's good to just kind of keep that mentality of like you're in a good position. Like they're at 0 and they need to stop your lasers. If they can't stop your lasers, they're going to have damage and be in more combo range for aerials. And going after you while they're at 0, if you are only doing shines and grabs and stuff, could potentially just kill them. So it had like from the Fox end, you feel like, man, I got to stop this Falco from lasering, but if I get shined while I'm doing it, if they bait me one time, I could lose my entire stock from 0. So you need to see it. You need to see it as like a position of strength, rather than like a position of weakness. And it becomes a position of strength because you're searching for the things that will 0 death Fox.
Right.
So the other thing, I want to just go back to what I was talking about before with like Fox sort of like, he's scared to hit Falco because Falco's in a slightly off position. And Falco, if you don't play with enough laser control, you will get that same feeling on Fox where he's kind of slippery. But if you hit him with enough lasers, you can like confirm his position accurately enough that it's no longer like, your walling down air is a lot better when you know exactly how far he's able to dash in after a laser before that down air comes out after you've confirmed the laser. So it just gives you like a way tighter prediction, like range of where Fox could potentially be if you're setting up with lasers before an interaction. Whereas like this, there was no setup, you can't guarantee. You're just literally like, man, if Fox was right here and not shielding, that would be Pog. And
Yeah.
Falco is just not built for that. He's not as good at that part of the game. He needs to set up the control to limit the possibilities, or else he's just not good enough. Like he can't fight like this.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy.
That was
He had the
unfortunate.
cross up too, and he still was able to get away.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just get unlucky. Make sure, just be careful. Don't light shield too close to the edge here, because sometimes he can short hop up here and get the push off. Just try to do it like right in the middle.
I try to aim it to be slightly close to the edge, but not too close. But I'm not. I sometimes do it too close anyway. So,
yeah. It makes sense as long as you know it's fine. It's not really a big deal. Yeah, dude. Like, look at this. This is crazy. This is just not like the gameplay I've been watching for like the last year. Like watching your stuff. Like you're like, boom. Okay, so you roll out. Fox does the back air, and you're just like, they're in a 0. I just feel like it. And then you're like, I don't know, back air 0. Jump, double jump, back air at 0. Back air.
It might also,
one laser there in. Huh?
I'm curious. I'm wondering if like maybe this is a little bit worse versus Lucky. Like maybe it's something about the way he plays.
It's certainly possible.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I watch it myself versus another Fox, it's not really much better. But yeah, this does look pretty bad watching it back.
Yeah, here, let me see. Is this... I want to see what video this is. Okay, no, this is versus Falcon. I wanted to find like our last Falco Fox lesson and just look at the video of that. Just really quick.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So it already looks very different.
Yeah.
Where it's like, all right, there's no aerials at 0. You're just spacing, getting the lasers, get your bait into the shield drop. And this is part of why it's like it's fine at 0 to like, just camp for the lasers. Because he's just like, I got to stop him from getting more lasers. And then you got him. Okay. Do this. Let's see. Punish. That was fine. You were in like this little scramble. Okay, that was weird. Okay, he whiffs there. Okay, I just want to get to like a neutral situation because I remember. Let's get to a low percent neutral situation. Killing Fox is miserable. Okay, got a bunch of lasers, playing pretty safe. The down air was not that great, but I understand. I've done that 10 billion times. It's very understandable. Okay, you're hunting for the shine. Weird platform pressure. This isn't the perfect one, because I remember in the last one, I feel like this was like a weird video. I just remember in the last couple lessons, I remember like I've been saying stuff like, man, your Falco's looking kind of like my Falco, And it's specifically like, it's not like, man, your Falco's good like mine. It's like, no, your Falco was playing like hyper systematic, like very similar style wise. And like this, it's just, sorry, that salon video was not as good as I had hoped to demonstrate the concept. But just like, I don't know, based on like our mutual experience of like remembering these like past lessons and stuff like that, it definitely just feels like that was like the issue is like basically what I've been describing, where you don't have quite as much confidence in like the systems as you have been in the past, and it basically is making you kind of throw out a bunch of stuff that you don't need to or in bad spots, and not getting the laser control you need to be getting. And so that basically just creates like a spiral of like Fox just randomly hitting you over and over and killing you, which I've been in. And so my prescription for this is basically like a return to hyper systematic play of like, what are they gonna do? They need to like take it from you and just sort of play slow. A lot of times it doesn't really take that much for me. I do it for like a few games where I just play like really like systematic and like try to react to everything off of laser. And it'll all kind of like, hopefully it'll all kind of just like realign again.
Yeah.
But that's like my kind of like honest diagnosis on seeing that. And it's possible that it does get worse against Lucky, but I think that like if you have like a lack of confidence in something, playing against a player who you feel like is like extra good at abusing the thing you lack confidence in will probably like, make it extra. It'll come out even more. So it's possible that happened with the Lucky set, but even so, like I think the issues that I was seeing with it are probably accurate, like across the board.
Yeah. It would be like some fundamental problem that I have mentally with versus Fox.
Yeah, it's
like regardless.
But like, it's not. I don't know how to describe it. Where like basically when you lose sight of. Well, that, speaking for me personally, but when I lose sight of like the systems or whatever, or I kind of like lose sight of a matchup and it starts feeling really, really confusing, you're usually not as, or at least I'm usually not as far away from kind of getting back into a good groove in the matchup as I think I am. It's kind of like anxiety where you feel like you're going to be anxious forever in like the moment, and then afterwards you realize it really wasn't, like it was pretty temporary. And so it's kind of similar to this, where it's like it's really easy to get down on yourself and start feeling bad about it, but it's really like you just need a couple little things in your brain to like line up again, and you'll be like, oh yeah, and then it'll start feeling differently again. It just feels like you're in kind of like this anti-Fox slump, and it's sort of affecting like your mental in the matchup.
Yeah.
All right, we can start the Pikachu VOD. Do you have any other thoughts on that though, or like ideas about it, or I don't know? What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's. I guess it's just like it's a little, from my perspective, like the past few weeks, I've been trying to just really like analyze every loss and then take away something good that I could work on in the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like I've been maybe what it is like I'm trying to uh like I'm trying to analyze every situation and like construct a good counterplay that's like meaty and high and like highly rewarding instead of just like hyper simplifying the game just to like down to only looking for lasers and shine and then grab and like going from there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like if Fox is on the top platform, I guess to like give a like a specific example, then like maybe in the past I would have been like, okay, I guess the only thing I can do is just like full hop laser from like the sides of the
Mm-hmm.
stage and just try to pressure him with that softly, or just stay on the ground and kind of be mobile and try to be like not easy to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like now I'm like, I could stay mobile on the ground, and also what if I know that he's likely like the most likely thing he's gonna do is like run off fastball aerial or short hop off fastball through the side flat aerial into
Mm-hmm.
the corner where I am, then like I can hard counter that by like staying mobile, and then as soon as I think he's gonna do it, I could dash AC bear to beat him like falling down on me, which is something I stole from Magi, and I'm like, oh, that's I could do that. I feel like I could. There's like a lot of situations versus Fox like that where if I can do that more, it makes the matchup feel like I can. There's a lot of situations I can exploit to get more openings and damage that way, but it is a little
Mm-hmm.
bit slower. And I don't know. Maybe it like gets me out of a mindset where I'm like focused on the system, and instead now I'm like I just want to exploit every situation to get the biggest opening I can.
Yeah, no, that actually sounds like a pretty good analysis of it. Like, I think that definitely makes sense with everything, like, I've observed, that it feels like that, like, potentially kind of took you out of the mindset a little bit, like, the correct mindset, and pushed you a little bit towards that mindset of kind of like, I don't know, it's closer to the way Bobby plays. Where he's kind of just
Yeah,
like looking for the big reward, and he's gonna jump in, he's gonna get his reward because they're definitely gonna nair, and then they don't nair, and he dies.
yeah. It's like that, but I feel like I in my head it seems like it must be better because the way I'm doing it, because it's like I don't think I'm doing things that are as reckless. Like it feels like it's smarter because I'm like maybe I'm like drifting back, or maybe I'm like positioning myself in a spot that's like harder to hit. I'm not like just full send naring at my opponent, but it's still like probably not good even for similar reasons
Yeah,
regardless.
I think basically the same thing can happen, but it's like you're basically trading the biggest reward for like a slightly smaller reward, and the big risk from the big reward with like a slightly like smaller risk. So it's like
Yeah,
you're just
exactly.
taking the same mindset and like tuning down the risk and reward slightly, but it like
Yeah,
it kind of evens out to the same play style.
yeah, yeah.
So like okay, with that in mind, that adds a little bit of complication to things. Okay, give me a sec to think about it.
Yeah, yeah. Um uh, yeah, because like I guess I don't know if this helps, but I've been like I'm really not like trying to abandon the system. Like they're all the things that we talked about.
Oh
Like
no,
I
I
don't.
definitely
I'm
know
trying
you're
to.
not trying to abandon it at all. This is just
Yeah,
the reason I'm so confident a lot of the things I'm kind of saying mentally here is just because I've been through this same road like multiple times. And so I'm trying to be like, all right, what is the best way I can like describe this in a way that's not just specific to me personally.
sure, sure.
But like I feel like I understand like where your intentions are with the game, and it's just part of learning the game where sometimes it's not you. Your brain will just kind of get off the road of the system, and then it doesn't like the system anymore.
Yeah,
And that's why I was kind of saying, like, to kind of like, I think so. I think a lot of these, so I call them like gotchas, like the gotchas on Fox. I think like practicing the gotchas is actually pretty good, like overall. Having strong gotchas is really important for performance in melee, uh, like in tournaments and stuff like that. And so I think it's good to be going for them, but you don't. The gotchas should be more of. Like the gotchas are more like you're playing somebody and you're using the systems, and 3 times they short hop off the top plat and fast fall through the side plat, and every time you just dash to center and laser them. And then the 4th time you do the gotcha and you hit them for it.
Yes, yeah. You know what it is? I think I'm not doing. I'm too eager to do the gotchas. I need to like wait and like use the system, wait, like slow down and play systematically for like most of the match, and then only sometimes I can do the gotchas. But I'm like so eager to do them all the time.
Exactly. So it's kind of like if I'm playing curve and he really likes full hop drill fade back, like on FD or something, and I'll do like laser dash back and he does full hop fade back drill, and I do laser dash back and he does full hop fade back drill, and I do laser wave dash in turn around up tilt and I hit him out of the drill. And it's like, if I just started that with freaking laser wave dash in turn around up tilt, I would lose every set.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I've had like a pretty similar experience actually versus curve, and that's like exactly.
Well, yeah, because that's all he does. Sorry.
No. Like for me, it's like I know he's gonna do the full hop fade back drill eventually, so I just eventually start trying to call out his dash back that he does sometimes afterwards. And then sometimes I get called out with like him doing dash forward up smash after instead. So, and I think it's kind of part of the problem with me like doing the gotchas too often.
And I actually think that Ginger, he sometimes has this problem because I think that he's the strongest Falco in the world at the gotchas. I think he's like against Fox. I think he's like crazy at it. But the times when he kind of, and sometimes like right now he's kind of on like his like I'm insane against Fox train. And it's when he finds this really nice balance of the systems versus the gotchas. But he certainly he has a tendency, in the times I've seen him lose to foxes that are less good than him, it's always because he gets very like gotcha based, and he's kind of just like maybe this down air or this up tilt or this down air, and he ends up just getting caught by them like hard reading him, and then he dies. And so I think it's like. And it's something like I said, we've all struggled with it. That's just like another example of like of somebody who like I think he's really good at using them, and sometimes that's like to a fault. And I kind of sometimes I end up that way under pressure, but like when you want it to end, you want to get greedy and you just kind of want to throw stuff out. But usually I kind of err a little bit more on like the information gathering side. But there's really like a balance there. And like you said, kind of like playing the systems most of the match. And then at some point, because that's the thing is like, if you have a gotcha, if you get it on the first stock or the 4th stock, it doesn't actually matter. So if you play the first 3 stocks gathering info and you gotcha them on their last stock or their second to last stock or the next game of the set, that's just as good, except you had more information to go off of. So it's better.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I think actually your response helped a lot because that gave me a lot of insight into like why it happened. Because sometimes for me it just happens for no reason. My brain just like forgets the systems, and so I was like, it could have just happened. But then you're like, no, I'm specifically going for the gotchas, and it's like, it's kind of like what happens like when you try to like play really fast and then you try to go back to being smart, and you're like, oh man, I'm kind of just throwing stuff out. It's like your brain went into this direction of exploring these like hyper specific situations and gotchas, and then it's kind of like you have to drag it back to like the middle from like where it is, because it's in a place where like it's just suboptimal for performance.
Yeah, I really did stop playing systematically. I like the more I'm thinking about it, like framing it in that way of like playing systematically versus playing for gotchas, like I'm thinking about all the notes I've taken recently. I'm like most of it is like kind of me just looking into ways to exploring gotchas for all the situations that I get hit.
And like I said, that's good. Like you're learning. It's just that sometimes it can be bad for your like current mental. You got to kind of like imbalance, and then you drag it back to the balanced state.
Yeah, that's right. You mentioned that before too.
Yeah, with like the fast thing, probably.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got to
you were saying like you
imbalance,
go
and
real
then you
fast and go
drag it
slow.
back to neutral. So I think
Right.
you kind of just ended up in like an imbalanced spot, and then got confused, which has been me like 100 times. So I understand. I'm like, man, I'm way too aggro against Peach. And then like 2 months later, I realized that I haven't taken a Peach stock under like 190 in like 2 months, and I'm like, oh, that's because when I think safe, I just zone with back air and I don't actually play the game. And I don't know. That's just kind of part
Right,
of
right.
melee. It's just part of like that's just like an endless cycle in melee. You got to get used to,
Yeah.
and kind of like I don't know, be ready for it. Like it's like it just remember that people aren't advancing that fast. Like this happens to me too, where I'm like, man, this thing worked 6 months ago, and it's like, is it not working now because they changed, or because I'm not really doing it right anymore? And
Yeah.
in my experience, literally every time has been because I wasn't doing it right anymore, and I just because I'm like, man, like I used to nair chic, I used to dash dance nair chic all the time, and it always would work. And I'm like, just not working lately, and I'm like watching my vods and like realizing that I'm just like nairing without the dash dance every time or something, and I'm like,
Right.
oh, that makes so
Sure.
much
Yeah,
sense. So it's like
yeah. Right.
you got to keep that in mind. It's like it's just a really really common thing. It honestly, the fact that it's happening means like you're trying to improve and get better, and you're like adding on new stuff that kind of just like pushed you off the path a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Not in a bad way necessarily, as long as you know that it's normal and it's okay to just go back on.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's why these lessons are good. Is just like also getting a second pair of eyes, so I know when I'm like going off the path.
Definitely, I think that's actually probably the most useful point of lessons too, with especially with
Yeah.
like drug fox lessons and stuff. I think that's basically what he provides for a lot of people. It's just
Yeah,
the
yeah.
second set of eyes. All right, we have a few minutes, so let's go over this Pikachu thing really quick. What are your thoughts on the Pikachu thing?
I think I only briefly reviewed this VOD, and my like hazy recollection was that it seemed like he plays really not grounded
Mm-hmm.
for a Pikachu, which was kind of confusing. And I think I just didn't really play around him on the platform as well at all, and
Yeah,
I kind of got owned really badly for it.
dude, that was my set with Axe 2 Genesises ago. I didn't know the matchup very well, and I was kind of rocking him. And then he just went to the platforms and started jumping off the platforms over and over, and I just like lost, and I had to
Yeah.
like figure it out. Okay, so I actually did another lesson with somebody really recently on this exact matchup, another Falco, and it wasn't streamed or anything, but basically the reduction of this matchup is that this is the Puff matchup. Like
Mm.
this matchup is just exactly like Puff. Like you just stay low, you stay on the ground, CC, wave dash out of shield, and roll are super duper OP. They can't approach you at all. Walled aerials, nair, dare, back air in place are super duper OP and crazy good, or like retreating, and never ever ever full hop. Like
Yes.
don't
Yeah.
like get above them. It's like the exact same rules for Jigglypuff. It's like, hey, if you're on the side plat and you're standing up here and Pikachu's down here, what are they gonna do? Same thing as Jigglypuff. They're gonna jump up and they're gonna up air every time. Their character does
Right.
not. Their character has like no tools. So every time they get a situation where they can potentially get their big reward, like the up air is their big super move, then like they're gonna go for it. So every time you're on the side plat, you can just shield. They're gonna jump up and up air you. Like they're gonna.
Yeah.
OKP is a psychopath, and he'll do dash dance, perfect task, edge cancel, fair dash back grab. But you don't need to worry about that for now. And it's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
easy to counter that once you know it's coming. 99% of the
Sure.
time, if you're shielding on a platform, Pikachu will jump up and try to hit you with up
Yep.
air.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Other thing, Pikachu can't Pikachu doesn't have Fox Drill. It's really difficult. This was like the hardest thing for me to get around. Was like Pikachu doesn't even have Puff's Drill. Pikachu doesn't have a drill at all.
Yeah.
Like if you are CCing and Pikachu is above you, you win. So when you're here and
Yeah.
Pikachu jumps off at you, if you crouch, there aren't any moves. Like, just what move can Pikachu hit you with if you crouch here that wins?
Do you what's because so at the start of the game, I go for a crouch under the platform, and he like nares and then spaces around it. My CC shine. Like I'm assuming that there's some spots where you just think it's not a good idea to
You
go
mean
for
that
it, right?
spot?
Yeah, that's not really a good idea, right?
No. I mean, this was actually totally fine. You just need to like walk CC.
Oh, okay.
Like I do that. I do that a lot. Just kind of walk in and CC. You kind of slide a little bit with the CC as you're like crouching and stuff. It just helps you land the shine more often. You can also just CC here and grab. Like you can CC,
Oh, okay.
you can CC grab down throw, and Pikachu has some pretty bad like tech animations and stuff, or back throw. Up throw is like kind of meh in this matchup. I mostly just do like down throw, forward throw, back throw. But yeah, you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
like right here. I would definitely just like if I had the presence of mind, I would just CC grab back throw, dash attack or something.
Sure.
But yeah, walk CC is really good, or like dash, like running CC. I use those a lot more. Like I don't really have a tendency to do this that much. I would be a lot more likely here to do something like dash and then do like a running crouch right here.
Yeah, that makes sense because it's like you get center and then like
They
there's a lot
can't
less
they
that you
can't
can space around.
like lock down your position perfectly, you know.
True, yeah.
But yeah, just like crouch, like it's fine. Crouch or like run under and crouch is like so good. Like right here, if you just ran in and crouched, it's like you just freaking like win. And the other thing is like if Pikachu does nair you here, they had to make a gamble and you get out for free. Like you took a little bit of damage, who cares? Pikachu can zero death you anyway.
Yeah, true.
And then yeah, spots like that, you really don't want to let Pikachu corner you. It's kind of like Puff. When Puff threatens to corner you, you can just like walling aerial. Because their shield grabs are so bad. Like it's the same
true.
thing where like they can't shield grab at all. So you can just, and the other thing is Pikachu, just like Puff, has a really really short shield. So if you like short hop nair, you can just like you can like short hop nair over the shield, then drag the nair down into the shield, and it's unpunishable. Or you can do the nair, fast fall, shine, short hop down air, and just drift back a little bit, unpunishable. Like there's tons of unpunishable stuff on Pikachu shield, tons.
Right.
What in the world? Were you
Yeah,
crouching?
let go of crouch.
Yeah, you had to. I was like, what? You must have jumped or something in that one frame.
Like, I know, like the one frame, yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, you don't want to be doing those. You gotta. It's like here's like the big, and this is like why it's like Puff. Pikachu can't approach on the ground. We know this, right? Like this is like established. Yeah. Can't approach on the ground at all. You're gonna aerial wall. You're gonna laser. You're gonna dash back here. Pikachu can't do anything. How about short hop aerial? Doesn't really work. A lot of times I do a thing a lot where I'll do laser and I do dash back out of the laser and then I crouch. And Pikachu will short hop nair at me thinking they're going to get over the next laser or they're going to catch me out of my laser. And then they hit my CC while I'm facing away and I get like CC shine. I get that all the time.
I see. Yeah,
so so it's like, all right, Pikachu can't nair approach and Pikachu can't grounded approach. And so it's like the only place that Pikachu is going to go when you start shooting lasers is up. And it's like, dude, Pikachu doesn't have a drill. Or like any move that hits downward. So if Pikachu is on the platform and you are on the ground, you're like super safe. Especially if you're like moving around and stuff like that. You're like incredibly safe. And Pikachu is like not particularly safe. Like the shield's not that good on Pikachu. He can't really hold the shield for all that long and just kind of sit there. You know, if you do up air pressure and then you do short hop up air and you fast fall, you're just going to ASCI down a lot of stuff. And so even if Pikachu's shielding and you do short hop up air fast fall and Pikachu does shield drop fast fall nair, you'll just go whoop and you'll just tech to the side and you're fine. And it doesn't matter that Pikachu punished you. There's like a lot of kind of positions like that where it's just like Pikachu needs, it's just like Puff. Pikachu needs you to do the thing that Pikachu needs, and if you don't do the thing that Pikachu needs, Pikachu is worthless. And so what Pikachu wants to do is Pikachu's like, I can't get the thing I need from the ground. Maybe if I go to the platform, Falco will kind of just give it to me. It's like when Puff is on the side plat, and then they jump to the top plat, and all they want in their soul is for you to rising full hop aerial so that they can get beneath you and start up airing over and over again. Pikachu's exactly the same way. That's all the character wants. All they want is for you to get above them with the full hop so they can start chucking out random up airs, and one of them will hit you and it'll hit with the reverse tail spike box and they go backward and you side B and they hit forward tilt and they run off and they double jump up air. And they're like, yeah, I'm good at Pikachu. And it's like, the character can't do anything. And the other thing is, the combo style is actually the Jigglypuff combo style. After this down air, you would think, shine. Nah, down air again.
Just down air again.
Just smack, smack, and then you do down air forward smash, or you down air and they pop way up high, and then you back air and Pikachu DIs, survival DIs, and dies off the top.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because otherwise, this isn't gonna kill Pikachu. Like down air, shine, down air. You're never gonna kill Pikachu out of that. But if you did right here, if you did down air, and then you did instant down air, and then they missed the tech, and you did one more down air, and they popped up, they might die there from a forward smash or a down tilt or something like that.
Right, yeah.
And we don't have enough time. I could go over, a bunch of stuff with edge guarding and all that. We'd probably need a bunch more Pikachu videos to go over.
Yeah.
But this is, a good kind of surface level, just blah, of this is, kind of Pikachu's basic plan to add on to the end of the Fox lesson.
Sure. Yeah, that's good. I think I can work with that.
Okay, so we're at an hour. Oh, do you have any closing thoughts or remarks?
No, I think I'll have to. I think it was good. It was a good good lesson to catch me on going a little too far. I think in the gotcha direction. So that this is super helpful, I think. But something that's not related, but I also wanted to mention at some point was I did get to play Eggs recently again in a extended friendly session. He's the blue Yoshi from Canada. And it was not good. He kind of beat me pretty bad, and I was talking to him afterwards about who is a good Falco to watch. And he was like, yeah, I mean, he pretty much beats every Falco, including you, he said. And
not true at all. I don't... What?
Well, that's what he said. I don't know.
All right, he's making that up, dude. Whatever.
But yeah, he said the only Falco he thinks that's plays the matchup correctly is Ginger. And I don't know what you think about that. Because I haven't watched Ginger play versus Yoshi except for sometimes versus Amsa, but I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
I can't believe he says he beats me. Absurd. I think he's trying to make the character sound better than the character is.
I don't know.
Most likely, I played him on unranked or something a long time ago, and he probably took a game or two, and he's like, "That's right." But whatever. Yeah. Definitely haven't lost any rank sets to a Yoshi. Last friendly session I played with Amsa, I won 80% of the game. So I don't know what he's on about.
Oh, dang, really?
Yeah, there was a session a month or two ago, or a couple months, no, not a month or two now, it was the end of last year, and I kind of just, I mean, it's friendly, so it's whatever, but I was kind of just obliterating him. It felt like I was just hitting really hard every single stock, and he couldn't really do a lot. I'm definitely way worse at that matchup now than I was at that point, because I was kind of practicing it a bunch, but at least knowledge-wise, I still am at the same spot, and I'm in a position where it feels like Falco does really well, so, I think that Ginger plays it pretty well. He's the guy who came up with the delayed double shine thing to catch out of the pillar, and I think that honestly, I don't have any super strong opinions on that. I don't watch Ginger and think this is the peak of Falco Yoshi. But he does have a solid game plan. My guess is his game plan is just counter to Egg's game plan, where it just kind of feels
I see.
All his stuff kind of gets countered by what Ginger does. But I don't know. I'm not gonna say Ginger doesn't play the matchup well. It's just it's just another one of the matchups where we kind of agree on some things and probably disagree on some other things. So
Okay.
I definitely don't think that. I don't know. I'm just mad. Like some Yoshi being like, "Nah, I beat Fiction too." Like, no, you don't. I don't lose to Yoshi.
I mean, yeah, he might have been like referring to like you said, like a friendly from like a long time ago or something. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure of like the veracity of that part. I just,
Now
he
this
was
is this is just my pet peeve because there are so many freaking players in this world that are like, yeah, I pretty much beat every Falco I play, and it's just because they just have a bunch of like prayers that they throw out, and then the Falcos are just kind of giving it to them. It's like, dude, it's just a lot of
yeah,
players have that opinion. They're good against Falco because they just freaking hope. It's like, all right.
yeah,
I'm not saying that players necessarily like that, but it's just a pet peeve of mine. I feel like people just don't really know what they're talking about.
yeah.
So we can go over some Yoshi stuff next lesson or something like that. I feel pretty confident in that matchup still.
Yeah, I do want to do that because yeah, I got kind of, I mean, like I applied some of the things we talked about, like never rising aerial against Yoshi pretty much ever, and like try to like high laser retreating against his like double jump falling aerials that he when he sets up from the ground and stuff. But like I don't know, it just feels like I couldn't figure out how to map on some of the specific ideas that we talked about onto what he was doing. It felt like I couldn't get it to work the way that we were talking about it in
I
the
see.
lesson.
Okay, yeah, I would definitely just need to like look at the VOD of that then.
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, all right, yeah, sounds good. We'll go over that at some point soon.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I appreciate the lesson again.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude. I will talk to you later, and you already have my payment info and stuff. Not a big deal. So
Yeah.
yeah, all right. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.
All right, sounds good. Peace.